Hello and welcome to the Overland Journal podcast. I am your host, Scott Brady, and I am here with my illustrious co-host who also has two first names, Matt Scott.
I actually have three, and I believe you also have three.
Yeah, Scott, Allen, Brady.
Yeah.
So we're the three first name crew here.
Primed for Republican Party ticket.
And we know that we're soon to be replaced by David and Ellie as the podcast hosts.
They're just too nice.
They're not only nice, but we had to turn down the charm on their accents a little bit so that you all didn't fire us immediately upon the completion of this podcast. But they're also incredibly well traveled, and they're traveling around the world in a Land Rover Defender, so they are clearly very brave as well. And we're super excited to have them on the podcast today to talk about your journeys. So thanks for being with us.
Well, thanks very much for having us.
Yeah, real pleasure to be here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a special thanks to Onyx for supporting this week's podcast. Are you tired of searching for a campsite only to find it packed or off limits? With Onyx Off-Road's new motorized dispersed camping layer, you can now see legal off-grid camping spots in national forests right in the app. Plan ahead, avoid the crowds, and camp confidently knowing you're on public land where it's allowed. Download Onyx Off-Road today and find your own space. Thanks again, Onyx.
And we are all at the big thing here in Montana. So I'm going to kind of deviate from how we normally do things, which is talking about your childhood or something like that. We're going to talk about the event for a few minutes. What did you guys think of the big thing? What do you think went well? What do you think could be improved? What was your overall take on the event, the experience?
I mean, it's been incredible for us. We haven't actually been in the States for very long, so it's been quite a whirlwind so far.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that really stood out for us was just the community feel. I mean, we don't have so many big kind of overland events like this back in the UK. But I think it was just such a good size.
It's a really good size.
Yeah, I think about 700 people, probably 750 people.
Yeah, but it was like still small enough to feel like, I don't know if intimate is the word, but like you could talk to people, you could make friends. Like there's kids running around with like those little frozen otter pops.
Yeah. Just handing them
the
out.
ones you cut the top off. You had as a kid, there's kids handing those out, and there's waters, and there's all these nice little touches that were really
definitely, yeah.
Like obviously, like we're affiliated, but that's just like me. Like
No,
that's how
and-
I feel. Like I had a really great time.
And that's why I
And I'm
wanted to
pretty
ask you
jaded.
guys. You guys can, say what you like and what you don't like. We're genuinely curious, and I'm sure the audience is too. So
I think, like Ellie was saying, back in the UK, we have kind of small Land Rover events, and everyone feels like a bit of a community. Land Rover family's quite a thing. And I know you guys have these big overland events in the States, and this feels pretty different. Not that we've been to them, but just people stopping. Oh, what are you doing here? What are you driving? Where have you come from? And to have that kind of level of, oh, I don't know you, but I want to get to know you. That was really cool to experience.
And it seems as if a lot of the people that are here aspire to do what you two are doing. So the fact that they get to chat with you, learn about your experience, be inspired by what you two are doing, I think that's really special too. So
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, we've been super inspired. We feel really kind of pumped to get back out there, I think, after hearing everyone else's stories, and especially, after hearing you, Scott, last night. And obviously, Patty Upton was super inspirational.
Incredible.
Yeah, I definitely shed a few tears towards the end.
I did too.
Yeah, and I think for us, obviously, we've been on the road for 9 months, and you get elements where, I kind of want to be back home at the moment. And coming to something like this just really reinvigorates that want to get out there, and something as extreme as what Patty did. You're like, I want a bit of that. I want to get out of the comfort, and I mean, I kind of see what we do as pretty luxurious. We've got a roof tent with a mattress. Patty was just sleeping in there.
Don't you not have air conditioning?
No, we don't have air conditioning, but
Very luxurious.
we've got little vents that open on the front.
We feel like we've gone soft because we've got a fridge and a diesel heater now, and for our previous trip to Central Asia, we didn't have any of that. So I feel like we've gone soft.
I mean,
the
fridge is fair. I mean, it's nice.
You've definitely gone soft. I'm the hard boy here.
Me too. Yeah, but I mean, think about when Patty did that trip. No GPS, no sat phone. You know, they probably did have radios, but communication could take weeks or months.
Right.
Sometimes they didn't know how each other was doing when she was off getting parts and trying to get them back to the car. I mean, incredible to think about in today's day where, you know, I've got 6 ways to communicate via satellite or radio or any other number of things.
Only
So-
6.
I mean, it's just like my trips are so much easier than what they went through. Or you think about Tom Shepard from the UK, you know, that crossed the Sahara in the 60s, again, with no GPS, using a sextant, using a sun compass, you know, communicating only by radio. Just really impressive what those early journeys were all about.
They're the real deal for sure.
Yeah.
That's next level.
Yeah, there's just so many travelers here, like legit ones. Like it was cool. Like I was chatting with Graham Jackson, you know, and he did his Africa trip early 2000s, and it's like internet cafe kind of information, right? Like, so you had everything from like Patty Upton to kind of like these early 2000s trips to obviously everything that like X Overland's doing, you know, with their modern expeditions and like just everything in between. You know, it really felt to me kind of like those early days of Overland Expo. And that's definitely like a feeling that I have been searching for a long time. It's, you know, that event, people kind of on it, but it's been a big part of my life. And I think people feel so passionately about that show because it really changed, but this feels like kind of like this breath of fresh air in the space. Like everyone was happy.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just a great group of people, and I know they don't want it to be too huge, and it was great. I mean, it was pretty much at capacity this year for what they wanted to do.
I think so, and it'll increase in size slightly, but I think the key is to keep it curated. You know, my takeaway was it really felt like, you know, like the stability that you get out of a tripod with where you have, you know, 30% of the event feeling very community focused, 30% of the event feeling very training and education focused, and then about 30% of the event feeling a little more commercial, where there's vendors here and they're talking about their product and they're also training people on the proper use of their product. So it felt like it was pretty balanced. I mean, the Overland Expos are essential for the community because it's a collection point of, for example, all of the trailers or all of the campers. So someone who's getting ready to make a $500,000 purchase, they can go to one spot and experience all the different products. And I'm so grateful that the Overland Expos exist, but I'm also really grateful that this is.
I think
around.
it's a sign of a really healthy industry. You know, like you said, like there has to be those Overland Expos. And I think it's a really, really good sign that this little world can support that and it can support this.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, because that allows, I don't want to say that takes some of the pressure off of Overland Expo to be this like kind of community type thing. I mean, it's kind of going its own direction, but our world also needs that, you know, particularly in the US. Like it's maybe a little more commercial than the UK and, you know, this kind of international overland scene. But yeah, I think it's like,
Yeah, think of the difference. Overland Expo, they are professional event organizers.
yeah,
X Overland Ranch, we are professional storytellers.
for
So
sure.
it's a completely different experience just because of the nature of the skills of the people who are putting on the two events.
Yeah.
So it's understandable that it would feel so different.
That
And there
makes
would be a
sense.
lot of storytelling here.
Yeah.
And a lot of inspiration and a lot of those, you know, visual considerations about how something feels.
And what I've really loved is, you know, you've got kind of the real simple builds like Patty Upton's, just a Jeep, get out there, do it, and then you've got these really awesome builds where you can live out of your vehicle quite comfortably, and then there's just everything in between.
Everything in between.
And so for people who come looking for a little bit of inspiration of this or a bit of that, there is everything for them to see on a really nice scale where they can actually just talk to a person and say, oh, how did you do that? You know, what do you do here? And yeah, that's what I thought was really cool about
Well,
this.
let's maybe pivot to that a little bit around you guys. You guys tell us about the vehicle you chose to take around the world. Why did you pick the vehicle you picked, and what are some of the things that you've done to it that you most appreciate?
We've got a Land Rover Defender 110 with a 300 TDI engine.
Perfect.
It's 1997.
Last year, the 300, isn't it?
Think so, yeah.
Yeah.
A year younger than us.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah, you can talk more about. You're very passionate about the 300 TDI, aren't you?
I am. Yeah,
It's a good choice.
I think, and I said this in our talk, it's, for me, the perfect overlanding engine. It's that simple kind of...
Not if you want power.
Not if you want power, yeah. But it's
Which you
that
usually don't need.
standard diesel engine that just sort of... There's no ECU. It's got the starter motor, and that's pretty much the only electronic thing on it. You can run it off vegetable oil, pretty much. We've put a lot of...
Very questionable fuel in it.
different qualities of diesel, and it's just chugged on. And I mean, Ellie's childhood, her parents both had Land Rover series, Land Rovers 110s, all through their early marriage, and then when you were maybe 7, they got their first 300 TDI 110. So we're slightly indoctrinated.
Yeah, you could say I've been brainwashed from a young age.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Me
yeah.
too. Camel Trophy is what brainwashed me. So
Exactly. I was just going to say, I grew up on those, absolutely loved those, and just saw how incredibly capable they were. Also, when they're quite stock as well, pretty much just as they come out of the factory, which is pretty cool.
I agree.
And that always really surprises me what our Land Rover can do. We took it around that course and I saw kind of the size of the articulation, and
The
I
tech
thought,
course, yeah.
we're not getting through that. But with kind of the instructors, I tried my first bit of left foot braking, and
Nice.
I was like, I can't believe I'm getting through this, looking kind of in the mirror, looking at the wheel up in the wheel arch. I was like, that's cool. And yeah, so they're just so capable without, rear lockers, front lockers. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And I think one of the main things for us in choosing it was just there's hardly any electrics, which isn't very common nowadays. But when you're out in the bush, when you're out in remote places, and something goes wrong, it's usually pretty simple to fix. And neither of us were very mechanically minded when we set out on the last trip. It's kind of turned you into a mechanic a little bit, hasn't it?
Land Rovers do have that effect.
They do. Yeah, they do. Yeah, you get good at taking care of it, and they'll take care of you.
Yeah.
It absolutely will. Now, Ellie, I heard you talk a little bit about your early travels. Talk about some of your early trips.
Yeah, growing up, we were really blessed as a family because my parents both worked in a school for most of my childhood, and that meant we had really nice long summer holidays. So we'd usually spend kind of 4 or 5 weeks going off around Europe, because that's obviously super accessible for us where we are. We did an expedition to Iceland that was over about 5 weeks with 5 Land Rovers, I think. That was, just
amazing.
An amazing experience as a youngster. I think it really kind of shapes you, and I just kind of caught the bug, I guess, and knew I wanted to go off and do my own stuff when I was older.
Oh, amazing.
I just think your truck's so friggin' cool.
Yeah, I mean, a white Land Rover 110.
It's got this simple roof rack on it too.
Yeah.
And it's not really lifted. It doesn't really have much going on. There's no tinted windows. Like I followed you guys on Instagram for a while, and I kind of saw you driving by, and I'm like, man, that truck's just like a daydream.
It's so pure.
It's so pure.
Thank you. Yeah, we've tried to keep it as stock as possible. We really do like that classic look, and it was kind of safari vibes in white, which we really liked. Yeah.
Well, and the other advantage of that, your photos will look cool 40 years from now. Like if you're driving, like even like the vehicle we're testing right now, a Ford Expedition Tremor, super capable, rear locker, 33, all the things. 40 years from now, those photos will not look cool.
It's gonna be like those old photos where you see like an Oldsmobile from like the 70s or 80s, and you're like, oh, that's unfortunate looking.
Yeah, and it's
because
like
the style will change.
The style will change.
Right.
Just like a modern Range Rover won't look great 40 years from now, whereas a Range Rover Classic, 100 years from now, it'll still be worthy of going back into the Louvre. And in my mind, that's the key to a Defender 110. Don't put all the stickers on it. Don't put the fancy wheels on it, because it'll date the car. It'll date the photograph. Whereas your photos, if you did a little treatment on them, like a Polaroid, it would look like you guys were traveling in the 80s.
Yeah.
And it will look also just as cool in 2040.
It does almost feel criminal when people kind of really pimp them out and stuff, because it's.
They totally
I feel like it should
shark.
be. It should be like a protected building.
I like that. Yeah, you guys should start the Ministry of Land Rover Heritage or something like that. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, like functionality's like great. If somebody feels the need that they have to do something for their particular needs, that's cool. But there's something special about just a very minimalist approach to overlanding. You guys spent your money on travel. You didn't spend your money on a million things, you know, you're kind of just saying, oh, we just got a fridge.
Yeah. And I mean, with our talk the other day, we really didn't want it to sound like we were dissing all these really smart trucks here. You know, there's nothing wrong with them.
Yeah.
Didn't want to sound bitter.
Yeah, but you guys wanted it more, right? Like you really wanted it.
Yeah.
You wanted to do it, and you found a way to do it.
We kind of figured that we could wait, 5-10 years, have a really kitted out, comfortable build. But I guess we were just really impatient. We just wanted to get out there,
Good for you guys.
Yeah.
We tell people that all the time in the podcast, and there are very few people who do it. There are very few people who say or take responsibility for the fact that they do have a choice in their life.
Yeah.
We'll get a series of reasons why people can't go, but they're all choices. You can sell everything you own, you can sell your house, you could take the equity you have, and you can go travel around the world. I'm not suggesting that people do that, but we always have to remember that we do have a choice. Or if you don't even have the money to buy a car, maybe you buy a motorcycle. If you don't even have the money to buy a motorcycle, buy a bicycle, and you can start traveling. There's a Japanese guy traveling through Africa a couple years ago. Graham Bell picked him up, and he was traveling with no money.
Amazing.
He was like a Zen Buddhist. He had his passport, and he traveled with no cash.
Wow.
I'm sure borders loved him.
Yeah, because he would wait until someone was willing to be his patron through the border and pay the $40 fee or whatever.
That's
Or they
next
would
level.
or somebody would finally just say, like, get out of here.
I thought we
But so
were
it's
cheap
possible.
travellers.
But it's possible. It's possible
It
to
really
do
is,
that.
yeah. I think so. We got married, and we didn't have a lot of money in the first year of our marriage. We kind of, we just finished uni. I was about to start teacher training. Ellie took a while to get a job because it was just quite difficult in London, and we just really wanted to get out there. So we spent a bit of time trying to get out of our overdraft.
To be very candid, I think we were on a joint income of about $14,000, would it be? So
That's
really not a lot.
That's super challenging.
And so then after that, we were like, well, let's just put everything we have aside. So it was kind of just making those lifestyle sacrifices to make it happen. Just simple things like not eating out, not getting takeaways. We didn't do a lot on the weekend.
And to be honest, life was a little bit miserable for a while. We weren't in the prettiest part of London. We both missed the countryside. We're from a really nice place on the coast, the southwest. It wasn't really a fun time, but we just tried to keep that end goal in mind,
And now you're doing it.
Yeah.
Now you're seeing the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Incredible.
think that was, again, a deciding factor in like no fridge, no diesel heater, because you've got to buy them and then you've got to fit them. And if, it's something like a diesel heater, you want a professional doing it, you don't want to do it yourself.
Burn your own truck down.
Yeah, and they require
Yeah.
maintenance and stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we were like, let's just do it. Let's just whack a bit of wood in the back and get a roof tent. And
as we were talking about before, just really inspired by those old like Land Rover expeditions of the 50s and 60s and like the Oxford to Cambridge.
Incredible. They didn't have a diesel heater.
Exactly,
They didn't
yeah.
have a fridge.
Yeah.
So you're right. Off
Yeah.
you go.
So we knew it could be done. We'd have to sacrifice some level of comfort, obviously. But yeah, we're just so keen to get out there.
And what was your first trip in the Land Rover when you kind of bought it, and where did you head off to?
so we did a couple of little trips to Wales, which is a really beautiful part of the UK, some good off-roading. But then kind of the main international trip was we went down through to Spain with Ellie's sister and Ellie's mum and dad in their 110, just to sort of get a feel of, what's going to work for us, what's not going to work. And then, after that...
That was kind of a bit of a test run for us, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then it was just Central Asia.
And what did you find you enjoyed about Spain? I think it's a great place to travel. Andorra as well.
Yeah, it's so varied for a country. It's not huge, especially compared to the States. You've got kind of desert, you've got mountains. It's got a lot to offer. And
Tapas.
Yeah, it does have a great food, tapas.
oh yeah, the food as well. Yeah. Sorry, the accent threw me a little bit there. Great food and actually quite cheap if you do it right. There's a fantastic shop across Europe called Lidl, and you can buy
Not sponsored.
groceries. Not sponsored, no. That would be nice. Really cheap groceries. So again, if you wanted to do it cheaply, you can. We do love Spain.
Yeah, and you can actually get out to places that feel quite wild and remote. I can't remember the name of the desert in the south. Tabernas, I think. Yeah. And you kind of feel like you're out there in the middle of nowhere.
What's the camping like there? I mean, I guess in the west of the U.S., you guys are kind of starting to get a little acquainted with with how we do it, and
Right.
we have all this public land.
Yeah,
Right.
it's slightly different for us. It's definitely more challenging in Europe.
So do you have to like find a campsite?
Yeah, so it's.
I just really haven't done that much camping like in Europe or Spain. Like
It can be quite expensive because Spain's quite a popular tourist destination. You're looking maybe minimum €60 for a campsite.
60?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so again, we try
Man, you
to
could stay.
avoid
Like, I mean, genuinely, like you
That's
could
why
stay
I
at a
didn't-
hotel for that.
Yeah.
That's why I
Yeah.
didn't camp in the Grenadier
Yeah.
all the way through Europe.
And
There was
as
no
a-
reason to camp.
As a matter of sort of principle, part of the reason we overland is because you've got free accommodation.
Yeah,
So I don't-
that keeps your like your
Yeah.
daily costs
Yeah,
like
so
so low.
It kind of defeats the object, yeah. And I think it's a bit of a grey area. Some places it's kind of tolerated, but I don't think you're technically meant to wild camp. So it can be challenging finding places.
And the fines can be high if you do get caught in the wrong place. It can be up to €200-300. But you find the right places, you find tracks, stuff like that.
Yeah,
It
and-
is doable.
I mean, over the years, I did quite a lot of Europe with my family, as I said, and we'd quite often just turn up to a field and ask a farmer in, some broken Italian or whatever.
Yeah, sure.
And they were usually really accommodating, not always, but a lot of the time. So yeah, there are kind of ways around it, but it's definitely not as accessible as in the US.
I definitely found some wild camping in the Pyrenees. I did an old smuggler's route from Andorra into the Pyrenees, and there was quite a bit of remote camping there.
Oh,
There's
cool.
just nobody living there.
Yeah, we haven't done that region yet. We'd love to. It looks amazing.
Yeah, it's really great.
So you guys start doing the stands. So let's talk about that.
Yes.
Let's talk about that trip. When did you leave?
It was the 7th of February 2022, and we were super excited. It was we'd worked up those 3 years, sort of saving up, and then we're just like let's just crack on. So we came down through Europe. We didn't spend a huge amount of time there because for us it's kind of, I guess, like Mexico or Canada. It's close-ish by.
You want to spend your time like at the far off places, right?
Yeah.
Like you got to
Exactly,
maximize that opportunity.
Yeah.
It's easy to go eat cheese in
Yeah.
France for you
Yeah.
guys.
We were hungry for adventure, for remoteness, for kind of unknown, and Central Asia just offers that on a level you can never really experience in Europe. And so we did spend a bit of time in Albania and Greece because they're really cool places. Some
Albania is great.
Awesome.
Did you guys go out?
Alex from Buzz Overland keeps talking about that
It's
area.
an
Like
incredible country.
Yeah.
Did you go to Teth?
We did, yeah.
Yes.
So we
And did you do that overland route
We
to get
did.
there?
We
so
did.
good.
It
So
was.
It was
very,
still pretty
very
snowy.
So we did the kind of track out, and the road that we'd come back in on, the paved road, we started going back out that way. We didn't know about this track at the time, and there was an Albanian Discovery 2 kind of came back and said, no, snowfall's come off the mountain, it's blocked, but follow us. And we were like, okay. And he went off at 30 miles an hour down this track, and I was like, hey, I can't keep this up, I'm going to destroy the Land Rover. So we kind of said,
at 30 mile an hour.
you carry on, we'll make our way slowly. And
So good.
and it's such a beautiful track, and you get up onto
Gorgeous.
a mountain, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden we were driving through deep snow, and that was the first bit of adventure on that trip.
Yeah, that area is beautiful.
Yeah, really stunning.
Yeah, it's a real overlanding dream, I think.
And you come
Albania.
across like these random churches in the middle of nowhere, and these homes where the roof is kind of collapsed in like out of a movie, and it's really special.
Yeah.
And because it was so cold in Europe, that's another reason we didn't spend a huge amount of time because of the diesel heater. It was sleeping was pretty rough. We had -12 one night, and
So you kind of have that mounted like in the truck, and then you've got a tube going to the tent, or how do you have that set up?
what for this trip?
Yeah, the little diesel heater you kind of mentioned a few times.
Oh, so the one we've got, it's Autoterm, which I think they're a Russian or a Latvian company. We just have it kind of coming up the front of my seat box.
We haven't actually used it in the tent yet.
No.
We've tended to sleep inside on this trip when
Oh,
it's
nice.
been,
Okay, that
yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, so Ellie spent a couple of mornings for maybe 4 or 5 days melting ice off the tent with her hand.
Especially when we were in central Turkey, it was really cold. We did have a couple of nights in a motel, treated ourselves.
I hear great things about Turkey. I don't think we've really ever had somebody on the podcast that's
Really talked about that.
really been through there.
Amazing
We could
country.
go on about Turkey for
Again,
ages.
the food, like
Food
just
is great.
insane.
And again, from a European standpoint, where it's not super easy to wild camp, you can put your roof tent up anywhere, and they don't care. We obviously, you look for the beautiful places, but there was one night we pulled up to a town, found a tennis court, camped next to it and hoped it was alright, and people kind of waving us, saying, "Oh,
Just-
sleep well," that sort of thing.
Just pulling onto beaches as well. Nobody cares. It's just super normal there.
And it has a pretty good four-wheel drive culture there.
Yeah.
Like people, they're into it.
They're crazy out there. Some
They're
of the
really,
videos you see
they're really
they
into
do
it,
go for it, yeah.
Yeah.
and they want to help you out. I remember, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the fastest growing economies in the world.
I believe it.
Like Turkey's like rapidly changing.
Yeah, deservedly. I mean, it's a great country and
Crossroads of the world. I mean, it always kind of has been.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. We met up with another Defender owner there in a white Defender and did what was it called? Karanlik
Yes.
Canyon.
Yeah.
And there's I think it's called Taş Yolu, something like that. My Turkish isn't very good.
Neither is mine.
But it's I think it's the other name is the Stone Road, so it's this old road that kind of winds through this canyon, and it's got all these you might have seen it on Instagram and stuff. It's got all these kind of tunnels carved out of the side of the canyon. It's just awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So we did that in convoy with him. That was a really cool experience.
That sounds very
Took
cool.
them 132 years to build, and then a year after it was completed, they built a different highway on the other side of the canyon.
Yeah, the technology had progressed so much. Like there's still a guy with a pickaxe, and
Yeah.
and here comes the boring machine.
Amazing.
What's your advice for somebody like for Turkey? Like, what are the things you think overlanders need to see when they come there? Or are there anything that's like very like particular or challenging?
I mean, Cappadocia obviously is incredible. Some really interesting history
It's
there.
Cappadocia that they're known for the balloon
Yeah.
at sunrise
Yeah,
thing,
that's
right?
the one. Yeah, all those famous photos. But they've also got these incredible kind of underground monasteries, and we don't usually do kind of really cultural historical things, but that was really really interesting. And it's all super cheap as well, entry.
Yeah, we paid, I think, was it £1.80 each to enter one of these underground churches, and they all kind of built them underground because in, like, I think the early days of the church, there was a massive amount of persecution, so they were just hiding in rocks. So they'd build these churches in the rocks and then live there, and that was really cool to see.
And obviously the incredible rock formations as well. It's kind of otherworldly, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, what a special part of the world. And you guys get to camp a little bit along the Black Sea and all that.
Yeah, we'd love to have spent more time there.
And then did you go into Iran or did you go into Georgia from there?
Georgia from there. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, kind of going into Central Asia, you've got 3 routes. You can go through Russia, down through Iran, and both of those at the time weren't really options because Russia had just invaded Ukraine.
Couple of weeks before we were
Yeah.
there.
Oh, wow, that's a
Iran
party.
weren't handing out visas to UK citizens all that easily, but also Turkmenistan, kind of the route up from Iran, that was completely shut off due to COVID. So
Oh yeah,
Was-
they stayed shut for a long time.
a long time, yeah.
Was
Yeah.
Turkmenistan shut completely to you guys?
Yes.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Interesting.
So we were really interested to see it kind of from a historical
Oh,
standpoint,
it's
politically
fascinating.
as well.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Iran thing would have been so cool. I mean, it's a challenge. You know, everybody that I know that has traveled there just says the people are so amazing.
Yeah.
There's so much to see, and it's so beautiful. And there's so much history, so much culture.
We'd
It's
love
just
to
one
hard,
go.
day.
hard to get in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One day.
Did you go through Turkmenistan?
I did. Yeah, we went across the Caspian from Azerbaijan into
Yeah.
Turkmenistan. So you probably went across the Caspian and then into Uzbekistan.
Yeah, so we went from the port in Baku
Yep.
over to Kurik.
Catch an F1 race while you were there?
We didn't know it was there. I think 2 weeks after we were there, but we got stuck at the Azerbaijan border. So again, they were closed due to COVID. There's the kind of narrative they were selling.
It was towards the end of COVID, so I think as far as we're aware, there were only a few countries in the world that were still closed.
I think it was maybe influenced. We can't obviously say this for certain, but I think it was influenced partially kind of all the Russian and Ukrainians that were fleeing. We don't know if it's anything to do with that, but we got stuck for 3 weeks, and like we said, Central Asia was the goal, and we've got to get through this border. So we were looking to apply for a transit visa. Can we just spend 72 hours getting to the port? Took us 3 weeks, a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails, a lot of visiting the embassy, but finally got through, and that was quite an emotional moment because at one point we thought, are we just going to have to turn around and go back home? So we got to that port, and as you'll know, that's a wild experience.
No schedule.
Like, when's the ferry coming? Maybe tomorrow.
Well, and the crazy thing is the port is like from, call it 1882.
Yeah.
And you turn around and there's a Ferrari dealership on the other side of the road.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's supposed to be
It's insane.
like the juxtaposition there is supposed to be
Yeah, it's
crazy.
Yeah.
So we lived there for 3 days waiting to be told, yeah, you can get on the ferry now. And Ellie was the only female
Yeah, it
there,
was
all truckers.
Quite an experience having to share a shower block with a load of truckers.
Now that's interesting because when I Because when I went across, they were moving natural gas in these big cylinders, but you would have been going to Uzbekistan. So what were they sending
We
back?
went to Kazakhstan.
Oh, Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was everything. And while we were there, we kind of experienced some of that hospitality that you hear about. Truckers inviting us, come over for a cup of tea or for some food. And that was really cool, but it was still a wild experience.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it was 2:00 in the morning, just sort of asleep in our seats, knock on the window, you can go on now. Oh, okay. And we were off. And that was exciting, kind of knowing that, we're going to get to Central Asia. This is what we've been saving and waiting for.
Just all that unknown ahead of us. And it was an emotional moment when we kind of hit Kazakh soil, saw our first camel, saw our first herd of wild horses, and it all just felt really real suddenly. And thinking about all the time we'd saved and the uncertainty when we were in Georgia, not knowing if we'd actually be able to get there. It was really emotional, just an amazing moment.
And did you go back into Uzbekistan from there?
We did, which for you Americans, not that big a deal. We did a crazy drive kind of across the western desert of Kazakhstan.
So we ended up having to transit it a little bit more than we wanted to because we'd been held up. We were on quite a tight time schedule just because of our budget, really.
Had to pick up your sister.
My sister was flying out to Kyrgyzstan, so we kind of had to transit across the length of Kazakhstan to meet her in time.
Gotcha.
And it's one of those things which for us, from Britain, we would do a 14-hour driving day and thinking, we've covered ground, and you look at the map, oh, no, we really have.
It's a big country.
And the
It's
West
a surprisingly big
is
country.
so flat and so barren and so empty, and that really blew our minds. We had one particular day where we drove for 3 hours in a dead straight line, and you look at the map, and I think it's a road 150 miles long. There are no turns, not even like slight deviations.
No petrol stations, no
Just
shops.
nothing. We didn't see anyone in it, but it really kind of, that was that sense of adventure.
That's kind of cool, though.
Super cool.
It's that level of, we're really vulnerable right now.
Yeah.
I always wanted to visit like the Soviet space port that they have in Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
That would be really cool because there's all these like abandoned. I mean, I don't know if you can really go in it, but you see the photographs from like there's an abandoned building. And there's like the Russian space shuttle just rotting inside of it.
Oh, wow.
Like, it looks really cool.
That's very cool. Yeah.
So then you went from Kazakhstan back into Kyrgyzstan or into Tajikistan? Which one did you go?
Kyrgyzstan next.
Kyrgyzstan,
Yeah.
okay.
The plan was Mongolia. We had our Russian visas all sorted, and we were going to go up through the Altai Mountains.
Yeah, it's easy. Little shot. Yeah.
And
It's this tiny section of Russia, really. That you
It's
have
easy.
To,
yeah, and
Takes
but
a day.
They invaded a month before. We probably would have been fine in that region.
We knew there were a couple of overlanders there at the time, so we really deliberated because Mongolia was probably the country we were most excited for. But we just decided against it in the end. As you can imagine, our mums weren't super keen with the situation with.
Yeah, Russia wasn't super popular then.
No.
Probably not super popular now.
No.
Yeah,
Maybe even less so.
it was a real unknown for us, and we had a good think about it and decided against it. But we really want to get back there one day. So
where did you wrap your trip up then?
So after that, we did Kyrgyzstan.
Tajikistan.
It was Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan into Tajikistan, and then back into Uzbekistan.
Yeah.
And we spent kind of a couple of months just going around those countries.
Did you go through the Tunnel of Death?
Which one's
Between Uzbekistan and Tajikistan, when you're going down into Dushanbe.
Oh yes, we did.
The one in the Fan Mountains.
Oh, that's the one you almost died in.
Yep.
Is that the one that's like all unlit?
Yeah.
Crazy.
There's water,
scary.
like it's nuts.
Yeah.
There was a landslide on the other side of the tunnel, and we didn't know it when we started in, and so everybody backed up, and nobody shut their cars off. So of course,
There's no air.
filling with carbon monoxide,
Crazy. Yeah. And you have all the trucks like with no lights on.
and they wouldn't shut them off. Yeah, it was
That was our first experience of Tajikistan, driving down, and that is a stunning drive.
Stunning.
That's one thing about Central Asia is you kind of, we tried not to do a huge amount of research, so that stuff was a bit of a surprise to us. And Tajikistan's the second most mountainous country in the world, and you just drop all the time. Your mouth's your jaw's just on the floor. This is a crazy country, and same for Kyrgyzstan. That's is it third most mountainous country in the
And
world.
it's so small, Kyrgyzstan, but it's just absolutely beautiful. So much packed into such a small space, and a lot of it you'd think you're in Switzerland. Lush alpine meadows and amazing hiking. Yeah.
Did you go through the walk-on corridor?
We didn't. So
there was a bit of instability in the Gorno-Badakhshan region where we were there, so we were kind of keeping one eye on the news. because we knew there'd been a little bit of instability.
But that's a pretty good road that goes around, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were really excited for that route, but they stopped handing out that visa, so you can get your $30 visa, your $50 visa, and that one includes that whole area. And the Pamir Highway, that's kind of again, one of those really cool routes, and we didn't get to do that again because of bureaucracy and instability. But again, it's one of those things where we're going to get back. We're going to go out and do it.
We managed to do a good chunk of the Pamir Highway. We kind of got right up to the border with the Gorno-Badakhshan region. So it was
amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And then where did you guys ship back from then?
We drove back.
Oh, you drove back.
Yeah.
Nice. Well done.
We got I think within a mile of the Chinese border, and that was the furthest east we got.
Yeah, sure.
And I think for us, it made the world feel really small. When we first got to Istanbul, which is, I think on Google Maps, is a 24-hour drive, we got there and we were like, wow, that's a massive drive. And then we got to the Chinese border and we were like, oh, it's only taken us a couple of months.
It does really change your perspective.
It does.
Yeah.
But then saying that, we'll get back home and it'll be a 20-minute drive to the shops. Oh.
Exactly.
Yeah, but we absolutely loved the Stans. It was just an incredible experience, and we've never had hospitality like that before.
Yeah,
I mean, we didn't have to cook a single meal in Tajikistan, I don't think, because we were just invited in constantly. Just really warm, lovely people.
Yeah, they wouldn't even let me fill out my passport paperwork at the border. They just sat us down and brought us tea and took our passports and they filled it out.
Yeah.
All the paperwork by hand.
The same thing happens when I go through U.S. Customs.
Exactly the same thing.
I think it's quite similar to Iranian culture in that sense.
sure.
They really honour and value their guests. They're just so excited to have you there.
And it's so genuine. It feels really genuine.
We had a 19-year-old kind of walk up to us when we were setting up camp, and he said, I want you to come over and be my guest. Took us onto his dad's land, and where he works a small farm there, and for those 2 days he just waited on us hand and foot. It was quite funny. We pulled up to
This is why they spent so much time there.
pulled up into this apple orchard, and then he took us to this suspension. It wasn't a bridge, it was just some wires across a river, and he said, hop in the basket, look into the basket, there's basically no floor, and there's a raging river, and he just pulls us along, goes back and gets Ellie, and you think about kind of all the stranger danger you're taught when you're growing up, don't talk to strangers and that sort of thing. He's like, come across this river with me, okay.
Yeah, but you just learn to say yes to all opportunities like this, don't you? Yeah. So we spent a few days there with him. Just the loveliest guy, wasn't he? I think in our culture we feel almost slightly uncomfortable when someone's waiting on you like that constantly.
Yeah.
We felt
Well, you are kind of raised with that stranger danger thing. I think.
And it's not a bad thing.
I mean, honestly, particularly I think the younger you are, the more you've been taught that person may have some sinister intentions or whatnot. So you kind of become a little more insular. I always find when I travel, it takes a while to kind of
I came from that standpoint. Every time someone approached me, I was like, "What do they want?
What do they want from me?"
But then, kind of as you get more, you're just trying to let that go, and this young lad in particular he really stuck with us, because then we went back through Dushanbe, and he said, "Oh, when you're coming back through, visit my family." And again, they waited on us hand and foot, and then when we left, I needed to.
Is this why I kept hearing that little bell last night? Like you're expecting people to come over?
We've expected some level of service, but we needed a tyre.
Where's my cookies?
So when we got to the tyre repair shop that he led us to, Ellie said, "You need to get out there and pay, otherwise he's going to try and do it." I didn't.
So
even
we're
switch
racing
the engine
him
off.
to this garage.
I kind of got up to this guy and I said, "I need to pay for this," and he was like, "No, it's done." What do you mean it's done? And this 20-year-old who's not got a huge amount has paid for our tyre repair, and we're trying to shove money in his hand, and he's just not letting it happen. And that really challenged us.
Yeah, we left the Stans just feeling so challenged by that warmth and hospitality, and it just really got us thinking about how we conduct ourselves at home.
And it's a gift for them too.
Yeah.
I mean, they got to spend time with somebody completely different as well. They got to learn a little bit about your life. I remember in Uzbekistan, we were looking for a place to stay, and we were eating at this restaurant, and I was trying to ask the proprietor, how do I find a hotel or whatever? And the thing that he was most clear on is this is going to be where you're going to stay.
Wow.
Because you already kind of eat reclining in these super comfortable,
Yeah.
And he's like, you're going to stay right here. But then the next morning I woke up and their tire was flat on their car. So without even telling them, I pull out the tire repair kit, I pull out the compressor, and so I found ways to make myself, feel like I was able to give back a little bit.
Yeah.
And because they're so genuinely genuinely hospitable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really wonderful.
And that's, again, kind of what we saw on the road. You see a car broken down, you see someone else with them. And we did have a couple of breakdowns with the Land Rover,
Fair.
But our flange tore when we were at the start of the Pamir Highway. So we're on a road that's pretty rough, quite a steep gradient, and then to our right, about 200-foot drop. And you just hear this horrible shearing noise. And that's not what you want to hear on this road. So Ellie has to get out, put her hand on the brake, because obviously our handbrake's gone as well. So I know I need to take the prop shaft off, put it in diff lock, two-wheel drive, fine, we'll sort out the problem. I get underneath after we've chopped the wheels. Ellie's got her foot on the brake, keeping yourself alive.
Fully aware that if I took my foot off, we'd probably all just roll off the side of this mountain.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm underneath trying to get the bolts off, and obviously prop shaft bolts are quite soft, and I just keep slipping, and they keep getting rounder and rounder. And I'm thinking, if I don't know what to do if I can't get the prop shaft off, and this minibus rumbles in. This man jumps out and I'm underneath looking at what's going on, and he takes his top off, doesn't say a word to me, gets some of his tools out, shimmies on underneath next to me. 5 minutes, it's off. And then he just drives off, and Ellie's desperately trying to shove some biscuits or sweets or tea or money in his hand, and he's going, nope, just drives off.
It's just part of their culture. And I guess,
it's beautiful.
Throughout history, like it's such a hostile environment. If you get stuck in the wrong place, the wrong time of year, it could be life or death. So they're all just so used to inviting people in, and
because they've experienced the same thing.
Yeah.
And they know that if someone doesn't help them, the weather can turn so quickly. Food is so difficult to come by. So it really is, and especially in Mongolia, even more so, because you may go for days without seeing a river or a yurt or someone else that can. So it's just part of their culture is to help travelers. It's amazing. Yeah, so cool. You got to go, Matt.
I want to go.
you need
Got to
to.
go. So much to do. So much to do.
Yeah.
We had another moment. Again, it's that whole Soviet influence of repair, not replace. Let's keep stuff going. If something were to go in the UK, I'll just buy a new one. Our starter motor failed in a field in Kyrgyzstan. Ellie and her sister tried giving us a bump start, but we were kind of parked uphill. It wasn't going to happen.
It was a good workout.
And so I went and found a scrapyard truck. He gave us a bump start, and we went off to try and sort it out. Found a 4x4 tour owner, and he said, let's go and find someone who can fix it. Whipped it off, the starter motor off. We got to this row of shipping containers, and they all had their own individual speciality, transfer boxes, headlights, whatever. And he took me to a guy who just worked on starter motors and alternators. He sort of looked at it, took the kind of casing off, looked at the kind of copper spool, whatever it is, and tested it and said, this is what you need to do. And then our new friend took us up to a shop. We bought the part for the equivalent of about $5, drove it back. This guy soldered it together, whacked it back together, and put it on the Land Rover. And it's still going to this day.
Amazing.
So that's
I love that.
unbelievable.
I love that.
A new starter motor in the UK is about $200.
So it's got through most of the Pan American as well.
Yeah,
And a great story.
Yeah, and we fixed it for $10. I was just that's incredible.
That's good value.
Yeah.
That's really good value. Yeah.
That's a good lesson, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think as I've got more confident, I'm now more able to think, okay, well, I can do this and I can bodge this to keep us going. Whereas before, it was a bit nerve-wracking. I'd done a few jobs on Ellie's dad's Land Rover, helped him out, but until you start doing it yourself, you're not really going to learn. And I think maybe that's something that might put people off starting and kind of stepping out into that unknown.
But if we can do it, anyone
if
can.
I can do it.
Well, it's such a foreign experience. Like I think from like the American perspective, like it's the same as you were saying. You just would buy a new starter. I mean, even just the process of rebuilding it. I don't know. It's just interesting. It's just completely different. I don't know.
Yeah, different mentality. Yeah.
And for someone who's come from zero mechanical background, I don't want to big myself up too much, but I know quite a lot now. And if I hear something, I'm thinking, I think that might be the belt tensioner, or it might be this, and you do just get.
And
more
there are a lot of
confident.
sounds in a Land Rover. we get a new mystery sound every day.
But the cool thing about Land Rovers is half of them will just go away.
Yeah.
It'll auto heal itself.
That
It
is
helps
weird.
pass the time.
Yeah, you're thinking.
Land Rover is the only car that ever fixes itself magically.
Yeah, it is. I mean, at the moment we've now gone 5-6 months without a breakdown. So now I'm thinking, something's coming.
This looks like metal, but it is actually wood.
Yeah,
you might want to knock on that a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys make it back to the UK, and then what happens next? Work for a little longer.
Yeah. So you left February of 22.
Yes.
we came back after 6.5 months, and I'm a primary school teacher by trade. Got back into school, and then I think a week into it, we sort of looked at each other. Should we save up for another one? So it wasn't get back and go straight out. It was again 2 years of pretty hardcore saving.
Yeah, I mean, you worked multiple jobs, didn't you? Didn't have many free weekends, so we really just tried to knuckle down and get back out there.
Really blessed to live with Ellie's parents, and that saved us a lot of money.
Of course, yeah.
A lot of young people in the UK are doing that nowadays because just rent is so high. So we were able to put a fair amount back for this, because this was a more expensive trip for us, because we've got to ship out, ship around the Darien Gap, unless we wanted to spend 3 years getting through it. And then we've got to ship home. So it was a longer sort of, a more financially challenging trip. But yeah, when we're back, we really want to get back to Central Asia. I know there's Africa, Australia, although I don't think we'll ever be able to clean yak enough to get it through the tight Australian.
That's very difficult.
Yeah, you can just buy something there though.
Yeah,
You know?
Yeah.
So I think Central Asia is the next one for us again. We want to get to Mongolia. We want to do the Pamir Highway. We also just want to see it again and spend more time there.
Yeah, if
But-
we're able to have kids as well, I feel like that would be such an
It'd be
incredible
incredible.
experience
Yeah.
for them.
So I think, we said at the start of the last trip, we want to do one more before we start trying to have a family. And then kind of we thought, oh, maybe we'll just settle down. But again, being here, seeing how many families are travelling and the families we see on the road, it's so doable. So it's, how can we cram them into the Land Rover? If
You might want air conditioning, amigo.
Maybe, maybe.
Yeah.
So I
But
think
also the kids don't care. They don't know.
I guess they don't know
any
what they
different.
don't know.
They
Yeah,
don't
that's
know.
true. Yeah.
So I think, if we can have children, that'll be the next thing. But it will be, we've got 6 weeks whilst I'm not on school holidays. We'll take them around Europe and sort of start putting the money aside for the next big trip.
But yeah, so we spent, was it about 2 years saving again? Just over 2 years. And then set out on the Pan American
And where did you guys ship into?
into Uruguay.
Okay.
So we flew out to Buenos Aires, went and met the Land Rover, and then we headed down to Ushuaia, and then up north.
So you came down the east coast of Argentina
Yes.
and then back
Yeah.
up.
We started off, we did a little bit of southern Brazil because we really wanted to see some of Brazil. I don't know if you've experienced this, kind of having gone further afield, but we almost felt like we were cheating flying out. And we sort of met the Land Rover there, and we were, it's just here, we've not driven here.
Felt too easy.
Headed down the east coast, that's where our prop shaft let go on the motorway. That was a terrifying experience.
Yeah, that'd be a party.
Yeah, and we got away very lightly. It hit the front bracket for the anti-roll bar, which we don't have, and it missed the transfer box, the gearbox.
Oh,
Was
wow.
the front or the
legs.
rear?
Front.
Front. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
the
it
most
could have
dangerous for
could
sure.
have taken our legs off.
Yeah, and we just fitted our new transfer box as well, and so if I would have been devastated if it had hit that. But we got away very lightly, and then we carried on down that
Through the
pretty dull road.
Pampas, yeah.
Yeah. So what made you ship like into the south? You know, start in the south and go north. You know, I don't know why, but I always think of that trip as kind of, you know, like you're heading south and you're ending at the end of the world. What was your thought on that?
I guess for people from the States, that's kind of more natural
Yeah.
because you're starting at home. We didn't really realise at the time that it was so unusual
Yeah,
to go
okay.
south to north.
Like, I don't think it's unusual. You know, it's just, I mean, I guess maybe it is just an American perspective.
And
of
I think that would be kind of neat because you would then encounter a lot more travelers because you're going the opposite direction of most travel.
Yeah, true.
So you get to encounter a lot more people.
You're
Yeah.
probably really good for information. Like, genuinely.
Yeah.
I guess we figured as well, maybe at the end we'll be a little bit tired and it will be kind of more comfortable once we get to the States.
Yeah.
We won't be roughing it quite as much. So, yeah, I
think
guess that was
there
our
is-
thinking.
Yeah, and there's an intensity to overlanding when you're in these cultures that are so different and you don't speak much of the language. And we thought, Americans are basically British, aren't they? You know, it'll be a doddle. these guys.
Basically.
Yeah. And I think that was, if we're really quite honest, it was we're going to be tired. So it's
Aggressively drinks coffee, not tea.
it'll be easier to sort of not integrate and kind of, it'll be less intense trying to speak Spanish all the time. And,
Sure.
Yeah.
But actually, it turns out it's quite difficult to understand Americans.
Fair. Totally fair. Yeah, totally fair.
We did actually have, so there's a Brit here, Buzz Overland, is it? Alex, lovely guy. He actually brought out some Earl Grey tea for us. We put in an order especially.
Yeah, I found it tucked into our wing mirror yesterday.
I love that.
He's such a nice guy. He kept his
is.
Grenadier at our office, and we kind of drove up to the event with him. He flew in.
Yeah.
Poor guy was like, landed in Phoenix from the UK.
Oh, geez,
got like a
117 degrees.
couple hours. Walked into an oven in Phoenix, then goes to
Yeah.
Prescott, and then the next day drives like 12 hours, meets us in Telluride. Like he's so fun.
Experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one thing that we were really excited for the States. You've got all of these different countries that speak lots of different languages. They've got a very different sort of history. Whereas the US, we see it as very similar to the UK, but there are so many really stark differences. And we spent the 4th of July with Andy and MH from Expedition Rogue, and that was really cool. And
We had the proper American experience.
yeah, and we were just so excited to meet Americans, and there was a lovely Irish guy that came across for that as well. So we were just, there were 3 Brits, an Irish guy, and this one lone Texan on the 4th of July, and that was really cool. We sort of see America as quite done because a lot of our friends will go there on holiday, but there's still so much for us to learn from this country and experience, and that's been really cool.
And the
as well.
natural beauty here is unique.
So
Incredible,
unlike anything else, such a variety here. And again, it was one of those experiences of, we're going to drive up to the big thing, and we were by Lake Tahoe, and we had to get up to Idaho for the 4th of July, 2 days driving. Oh, easy, look, it's only 12 hours, forgetting that a lot of that is 85 miles an hour. Right. We're sitting at 60. We sort of got into this drive, and I was like, we've done 12 hours today, look at the map.
Oh no, I'm in Winnemucca.
On our way up, we actually got pulled over by the police. We were a little bit nervous and didn't know what was going on. Anyway, he came over and said, you're going way below the speed limit. And we were like, we can't go any faster.
It's as fast as we can go. What did he say?
Well, it's funny. We were doing 55 and a 65, so we thought, that's not too bad. But he took
at that
away,
point, our steering wheel was starting to shake.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So he took away my passport to check everything, and he came over and he was like, "Well, good news is you're not wanted in the States." I was like, "Oh, that's excellent." But Ellie had thought he just meant we don't want you here. So she got really upset.
Oh no! I could see how you would think that with what he said. Oh no!
And David was really confused. Like, why does that upset her so much?
No, that totally makes sense. That's
because like
terrible.
it goes back to the posters of the
wanted
cowboy
here.
days, like
no.
wanted, and it would have their face. Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. Oh no, that's awful. Yeah, and some of the states actually do have a minimum speed posted because it's it's so dangerous if someone was to come up behind you at 80 or 85. And of course, they drive very fast here. So.
Noted. We're going to be maxing it out.
Massive end. That's the one thing about the US that, we've seen a few US films and you see these trucks, you're like, oh, that's not real. And then you turn up and it's all real. 3 times the size of the Land Rover.
We feel so small here compared to home. Yeah.
And towing, a house,
yes,
a trailer
exactly.
that's
with like 3 air conditioners,
40 feet long.
Yeah, 3 axle, 5th wheel, and then there's a 20-foot long UTV with 24 inches of suspension travel in the back.
Yeah, exactly.
And in
everywhere.
the UK, if you're towing, you're restricted to 60 miles an hour, but not here. They just
Send
book
it.
past you.
I get guys in those with those big, we call them toy haulers, and like the big diesel trucks, and I'll be in the Roamer, and they just blow by me up hills. I mean, some of these guys are like.
Yeah.
Like they're aggressive with it.
They are sending it.
We were speaking to Andy about it, and he said, in the UK or in Europe, you just accept you're going to be going a bit slower. In the US, bigger engine.
Just bigger tires, bigger engine.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Send it. Yeah, that's so funny. Fortunately, there's usually a highway that you can take that'll be a slower speed that'll parallel the interstate or something like that.
Yeah.
But so you guys drove then down to Ushuaia, and then what route did you take back up South America?
So we kind of hip-hopped up the Chilean-Argentinian border, which was
Nice.
really cool. We had our first Southern Hemisphere Christmas just on a kind of like a beach next to a river in Chile.
On the Carretera Austral.
Yeah, and we felt a bit kind of nervous, not nervous, maybe just a bit down about being away from family for Christmas, but it ended up being really special. We rocked up to this beach, beautiful spot. It was like 27 degrees in the day, or whatever that is in Fahrenheit.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know.
The water,
Sounds delicious.
Yeah.
27 sounds perfect.
But the water was really crisp and cool, and we were like, okay, this is going to be a nice Christmas. And then the next day, about 60 different families descended with their barbecues. This is Christmas Day. And we were surrounded by these families, kids playing in the water, and this is really cool.
Yeah.
Like, we thought we were going to feel a bit down, but it ended up being really special.
Yeah.
And then, we carried on up. We met some friends in Bolivia who'd flown out from the UK that we're really good friends with back home. They spent 2 weeks traveling with us.
We did a uni with them, quite a bit of Bolivia, Death Road. So that was
Nice.
really special to be able to share those
Did you guys
experiences.
do Laguna's route?
We didn't. So we did the Argentinian Altiplano, and we had to get to a uni to see them. And we chatted with a Brit down in Chile, and he actually said if you're choosing between one or the other, I'd do the Argentinian one because he said it's sort of less commercial, and he'd done it. He said there were just thousands of vehicles up on it, so we thought, okay, well, we've only got one, we've got to get to a uni.
We would
Let's
have
do
loved
that
to have
one.
done both, but I think
yeah.
because we had these time constraints because our friends were flying out, it's always a bit tricky.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we shoved them in the back. We've got a bed platform that I just built, and they kind of drove along, sat in the back there, and they slept in the back. We went in the roof tent, and we hit some pretty bad weather in Bolivia. We kind of got
We
there
didn't time it very well.
the start of rainy season, so we went to bed on a wet mattress a couple of nights. That wasn't so fun. And then we did Peru, Ecuador, Colombia, and then shipped from Cartagena to Veracruz. We weren't able to do Costa Rica, Nicaragua, or El Salvador
Because you're right-hand drive.
yeah. So then we nipped down to Belize, spent a week in Belize, which is a really cool country. Like,
Totally.
We
so
didn't know
different.
much about it, so going into it, without any kind of prior knowledge was really cool. Actually,
That's so unique. I mean, they used the U.S. dollar. It was it was part of the British, colony system until 1984 or something like
So
that.
just suddenly dropped
Very
into
recent.
this sort of Caribbean vibe place. That was really cool. Had some amazing food.
Considering it borders Mexico, it was just so different. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
And a really nice break for us to be able to speak English for a bit.
Yeah, for
We'd
sure.
always, because we travel on a pretty tight budget, Belize was always a bit of a holiday destination. So we did some really cool snorkeling on the islands, and then some cool off-roading. And then we did Guatemala, came up the sort of like central western highlands of Mexico, did Oaxaca, kind of went through Michoacan and Jalisco a little bit.
Amazing.
And again, that's a place that the UK government, it's do not go here.
Yeah.
And
Same
we
with
know
ours.
there are a lot of places where the government say that, it's not really that bad, like Tajikistan.
Yeah.
We've never felt safer. But we knew that Mexico, you've got to take that a little bit seriously. But so we went through that area, really beautiful drives, really warm people. And then
Great food.
Yeah, so good.
And then we got to Bar, because when we were in Cartagena about to ship, we kind of got the invite to come here, and so we were like, right, so let's time this out. So we did a bit of time in Baja. That was really cool. It was getting quite warm.
Did you
at
take
that
the
point.
ferry over?
Yes, that was a wild experience as well.
Did you do the trucker ferry or did you do the
Just the passenger one, yeah.
passenger one?
And then we stayed, because we didn't have a huge amount of time in Baja. We thought we want the Sea of Cortez side. It's a bit calmer, a bit of snorkeling,
Yeah,
fishing.
sure.
Got stung by a stingray. That was fun.
Oh wow, that sounds not
Oh
fun.
no.
So we bought
What happened there?
David has a knack for catching dangerous animals.
we bought a fishing rod for Baja because we thought.
Do not go to
cool.
Australia.
No, I'm not safe there.
It doesn't sound like it.
So we do a bit of fishing back home, just off a boat, just mackerel. I'm still yet to catch a bass. But yeah, so I thought, it'll be quite easy. But I've never cast from the shore before, so I was giving it a go, caught something, picked it up. What is this? Ellie took a picture, sent it to ChatGPT. David, put it down. It's a puffer fish. Oh, okay.
Yeah, those will kill you.
Let that one go. Cast again. About 2 minutes later, I caught what I thought was a flatfish. In the UK, there's a lot of plaice, a lot of flatfish. I was like, that's cool. Ellie, come and look. She's on FaceTime to her sister. And I'm trying to get the hook out so I can release it. And she goes, David, that looks like a barb. And seconds after she said that, whack, straight through the finger. I'm screaming. Absolutely screaming. Ellie was...
Laughing.
Well, no, she was in a little bit of a panic. We go off to a hospital.
That's how Steve Irwin died.
Yeah, I know, yeah. The doctor kind of looked at it and went, that looks rough. And I was like, yeah, it hurts.
Turns out the barb had actually gone through his finger and out the other side.
Wow.
But because it had done that, it had left a load of venom inside, and then he squeezed it out, and the second the venom was out, I was fine.
Interesting.
But yeah, so
Got to remember that.
not a very
Yeah.
successful fishing experience. In fact, I was thinking we're going to be catching Sierra mackerel, we're going to be cooking it on the barbecue, but
Yeah, you're better off just buying it from the locals when they come in with the ponga.
yeah.
Slightly
Couple
safer.
bucks, you get a whole fish.
Yeah. But yeah, we had some incredible tacos. Because, I mean, you'll have experienced that the food in Central Asia is maybe not to Western taste.
Although I found myself kind of falling in love with like the plovs and the goat and the lamb meat. And I never really ate much goat or lamb before that, but by the
Lamb's
end of
good.
it, I still have a craving for it.
Yeah.
Let's have a lamb night.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Lamb night.
Sounds
When you
good.
guys come
Good.
through Prescott.
There we go.
I'll
Perfect.
be there.
But yeah, so the food, we really enjoyed that in just the whole of Mexico. And then, we entered the States, and all of a
Just
sudden you're just...
The biggest cultural change over a border.
Sorry about that. It's like an explosion.
American flag flying at the border, like 26 lanes.
Yeah.
You know, we're used to fairly small border crossings, and we got across at about 9 at night, and we were like, let's go get McDonald's. Let's do it right.
Like
Fair.
the extreme
Go
overlanders.
walk
we
around
are.
Walmart at midnight, get some McDonald's.
Yeah.
Genuinely, one of the things
You
we
buy
were
a gun
most
yet?
excited for was Walmart. No, we've not bought a gun yet, but
I don't think you can, but
Yeah.
a little bit of a joke.
We are doing the shooting course after this. That'll be fun. Getting the full American experience.
That's gonna because this shooting thing that they're doing,
All of the Brits that come to see us want to
they
shoot
all want to
stuff.
shoot guns.
The last
Like,
one wanted to shoot their own car with our guns.
No, we did.
That's right. You did shoot the.
Yeah.
Remember the London taxi guys?
oh
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paul shot the car.
Keen?
Yeah, I'm up for it.
No, don't shoot it. Don't shoot it.
Don't shoot your car.
This was a clapped out taxi.
Okay,
Okay.
yes. Well, we've said, obviously we've got a couple of dings here and there. We actually had, so we called the Land Rover Yak because it's slow, carries lots of weight, and we'll get there in the end.
Yeah,
the whole
sure.
Central Asia vibe. And we got a couple of dings from yak horns when we were in Kyrgyzstan.
I love that.
That's really cool. Never ever changing that.
Yeah.
And we said if we get a bear scratch in the States, that's never going either.
Yeah.
It'll be more than a scratch. That's the problem.
yeah.
They'll just
Yeah.
peel-
Yeah, let's just
they'll
hope
peel
that
the-
one doesn't
Yeah,
happen.
they'll peel the whole door open.
We had a black bear outside the Land Rover just outside Lake Tahoe. So we'd gone up to Loon Lake to start the Rubicon
Were you
Trail.
teasing him with some food so
We
he'd
were.
scratch
No,
the truck?
we'd heard that you're not supposed to do that. A fed bear is a dead bear. But Ellie woke me up at 1 a.m. David, there's a bear outside. No, there's not. You're used to cows and cattle outside,
Sure.
any sort of livestock. And then half an hour later it was back. And so we open up the tent, get the head torch out, turn it on, and there's this huge black bear by the back wheel. And the second we
Yeah.
turned the torch on, it bolted because they're quite timid.
Yeah,
but-
sure.
It was quite big for a black bear because
Okay.
they're not
They
the
can
biggest.
be very big. They
Yeah,
can be very
and
big.
so that was really cool because we
Yeah.
spent, through Turkey, there are a lot of brown bears, and all of our friends we travelled with, they were seeing them days after we left them. Why have we not seen a bear yet? So we were like, right, but if we're in the States, we surely have to see one. So that was actually a really exciting.
Yeah.
That is very cool.
Can tick that one off now.
Yeah. Still got to see a grizzly.
But no scratch down
No,
the side of it.
unfortunately not.
You want to see a grizzly from a distance.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
don't want
Yeah.
to see a grizzly beneath your tent.
No.
Yeah.
Because they'll stand up and look you in the eye.
They will. They will literally stand as high as your roof down.
Really? Do you reckon we've got a good chance in Canada of seeing one?
Of seeing one, I
Yeah.
would say so. Yeah.
Nice.
'Cause, I mean,
No,
the
I
most-
don't want it in the tent.
The most dangerous animal in the UK is a cow. So, and they are
Fair.
dangerous. They do kill people.
Yeah,
but-
absolutely.
Oh man, to be from a place that's so mild. I love it. I want to live there.
Yeah.
They have
we
pubs.
talk about that
They have
all the time.
cask ale.
Yeah, we talk about that all the
Yeah.
time. They have
Yeah.
gin
You're-
and
you're
tonic.
not
They have
wanted
gin
there.
and tonic.
You're not wanted there.
Oh, what a great story.
So, what's next on the trip? I mean, you're saying Canada. You guys going to continue north? You're going to hang out in the States for a bit?
I mean, it's the big question now because we discovered a couple of nights ago that we've got a little bit of an issue with our visa and our timings.
So we've got a 90-day Esther. We thought, if we're on day 31 and we cross into Canada, it pauses there. And then when we get into Alaska, day 32 starts.
No, it all runs.
And apparently not. Apparently it carries on. So we're flying back on the 10th of October, supposedly. But our Esther runs out on the 16th of September. So we're just trying. I'm gonna ring the embassy tomorrow and see what we can do, what our options are. But the plan at the moment is 2 weeks in Oregon and Washington. My sister's flying out to join us for a little bit, and then we head up to Alaska. And then after that, the plan was to come back down to Utah and Colorado once Utah had cooled down a bit. But it's all a bit up in the air at the moment.
Yeah, so
I'm sure you'll be able to figure it out.
Yeah, we might fly home for a little bit. My sister's getting married, so we kind of have a hard deadline there anyway to get back, spend a bit of time there. Maybe we can earn some money and fly back for a while because we really don't want to feel like we're rushing the States.
Yeah, sure.
We've been so excited for Utah, Colorado area.
So much to see there.
Yeah.
So much to
And,
see there.
and one option is to leave our Land Rover with Andy in Idaho
Yeah, sure.
and come back next summer. I'd love to do that, but I hate the idea of not being with my Land Rover for more than a month. So
But that's the
Maybe.
right place to leave it, though.
Yeah.
So we're figuring
Leave
things
them
out.
with a list of tasks.
Yeah. He's unemployed at the moment.
Change
exactly.
the oil.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we're
Check the prop shaft.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're figuring stuff out, but at the moment we'll get up to Prudhoe Bay and then figure it out after that.
Amazing. So how do people follow you? Your journey.
We're Yak Overland on Instagram and YouTube. We put a little bit more effort into YouTube at the moment. I found it hard kind of keeping up with both, so we're a little bit behind. I think we're still back in Guatemala or something.
Yeah, when I was messaging you guys, I'm like, you're not going to make it.
Yeah, I think Instagram's ever changing, and it's there's a lot of gimmicky stuff out there. Whereas I feel like Ellie's a bit of a storyteller. I don't do anything with social media. I try and reply to the messages, but Ellie really loves photography, videography. So I think YouTube gives us the element to just capture it in a bit more of a real way.
It feels more authentic to me and less, I don't know, kind of preened, I guess.
Look at me. Yeah.
Yeah. We like to show the highs and the lows,
Yeah, I like that.
So yeah, I try to put a video out every other Friday generally.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, you guys are awesome. So you guys are a great inspiration. Thank you for being at the event and for sharing your stories with all the people that were here. Thanks for being on the podcast. Really means a lot to us to tell your story as well. So thanks.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Yeah, you guys are legends, so it's a real honor to meet you. We had no idea we'd be doing this. It's been really cool.
You guys
experience.
were great. This is a super fun
Can't wait to keep
conversation.
following along.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, thank you both for being on the podcast. And we thank you all for listening. And we'll talk to you next time.